Good morning, guys. It's another beautiful sunny day right in my face here in South Florida, and I have some news. Later this week I'm going to have a Model 3 Performance for 24 hours, so I'm gonna test the Model 3 Performance. The day's finally here and I think once I drive the Model 3 Performance, I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go back to my Standard Range Plus, and right now I feel like it doesn't lack any power at all, but I'm pretty sure that after driving the Performance, that is obviously going to change. I have a feeling that's gonna happen, but at the same time I really love this car still. I just want to see what the Model 3 can be like, and potentially we'll see what happens in the future if I decide to keep the Standard Range Plus or go with something else in the Tesla range. And that's what today's video is about. Why did I choose the Model 3 instead of the Model Y? Well, the answer to that is pretty simple actually. It has to do about the design. I wanted a smaller sedan instead of a Model Y because the Model Y is more of a family car. I'm not really in that market yet. I don't need all the space, and I love the rear end of the Model 3 more than I like the Model Y. It's a sedan instead of a hatchback. However, if you have a family, let's say of 4-5 people, then I would definitely go for the Model Y because it's still a good looking car. It handles great. However, I think the Model 3 handles a little better than the Model Y, even though it is a good handling SUV. I mean, they call it an SUV, but I don't know, the term SUV these days seems to be a little up in the air. Anything, my old Mini Cooper Countryman was considered an SUV, and to me that was just a hatchback. If just by looking at the proportions and the stance of the car, I wouldn't call it an SUV, but hey, that's what they call it. They call the Model Y an SUV as well. The Model Y is a sort of like a, you know, the SUV coupe. I've talked about that before, what I think about the SUV coupes as well. However, it's a little bit different when it comes to the Model Y. Model Y seems it's almost in the same price range, about $5,000 more, and they just recently discontinued the Standard Range Plus for the Model Y. So now all we have is the long range and the Performance Model Y. And the long range, I'm not 100% sure what the cost is for the long range. I think it's about 47, maybe something like that. I have to verify that, but I think it's somewhere around there. So it's about maybe 8,000 more than this car, something like that. And it's a good choice. The Model Y is a perfect, I love the hatchback design of it. It makes loading so much easier, loading luggage and stuff in the back a lot easier because you have this hatch opening in the back. I'm gonna make a review of the Model Y as well, and just the design of it, and the design changes from the Model 3. They do share 75% of the same parts, which is pretty interesting. And I mean, it makes sense if they want to have if they want to get products out to market quickly. That's what you would do. You would take whatever you have, whatever you can use from the Model 3, such as the lights, for example, typical stuff, probably maybe the doors too, I'm not 100% sure there, but 75% about the parts, and obviously the parts you can't see too. So underneath the shell of the car, you have a lot of similar parts as well, and the interior is pretty much identical to the Model 3. So if you want to get a car out to market fast, that's what you would do. You take the existing car, which was the Model 3, and then you just slap on a different body style onto those parts from the Model 3, and boom, you have yourself a new segment, a small SUV. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions about the hatchback design, or the design of the Model Y in general. I've said 1,000 times that I'm not a fan of SUV coupes, but I think the Model Y, it's not just because it's a Tesla. I just think the design of the Model Y works as a sort of SUV coupe, because to me it doesn't really look like an SUV to begin with. It doesn't look like the extremely ugly GLC, for example. The GLC is a typical you know, SUV. And when you just remove the rear end of the SUV on the GLC and the GLE, I think is even worse when it comes to coupe form. It just doesn't work. It looks like a big bloated something on wheels. To me, those designs just don't make sense to me. But then when you come to the Tesla Model Y, and also I made a Instagram story about this as well. Another car that really works as a SUV coupe is the Porsche Cayenne coupe, sport coupe, or whatever they're called these days. The reason for that is because we're so used to seeing Porsches as coupes. That's the only thing they've been doing for a very, very long time. So when they put a SUV coupe out on the market, it kind of makes sense visually because it looks like a Porsche. A Mercedes GLC coupe doesn't look like a Mercedes. It just looks like some weird shaped SUV that's not supposed to look like that. And I'm sad to see that Volvo also following this trend with the XC40 Recharge, I think it's called. So they jumped on the SUV coupe trend as well. But today, back to the Model Y and why I chose the Model 3. I right now, for today, I don't have a need for the Model Y. I don't have a need for a bigger, almost, I think they can fit 7 people in the Model Y. I just don't need it. And I think I wanted to have a sedan, a lower sitting car, a lower riding car, more sporty handling than the Model Y. And even though I do like the Model Y, it's just not what I wanted at this point. Now, when I trade this car eventually, whenever that's gonna happen, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with a Model 3 Performance, or I don't know exactly at all what I'm gonna get after this. Right now, I'm just enjoying this car. I'm really loving everything about this car. Seriously, it's been, when did I take delivery of it? I think maybe 3 months or so ago, or something like that. Took delivery of the car, and I just love it more and more. I did have one problem recently though, and that was that the screen, the map just froze. It just froze in one location. I went to a friend's house and then it just froze on that specific location, and I couldn't get it to unfreeze. I rebooted the system twice, didn't help, and then I just said, okay, I'm not sure what to do about this, so I'm just gonna keep driving it for now. And then all of a sudden the next day it just fixed itself, I guess. I just started driving, and I could see that the map was kind of lagging, and then it boom, just popped back into place and showed me exactly where I was, and it hasn't been a problem since. That's kind of the only problem that I had. Another thing I want to update you on is the door. So the door, as you know, the squeaky door, I have a squeaky driver's side door when I open it. It's been bothering me a bit, but then it was raining like crazy the other day. And after the rain, for the next day, it just had no squeak at all. So I think that you guys who've said that it has with some lubrication, has to do with some lubrication, I'm pretty sure that's the point. I just need to figure out what part of the door needs the lube or the oiliness, and or I might just open the door and just spray the whole thing down with some some lube and hope for the best, because I'm never gonna see that part anyway, and I don't think it's really gonna hurt it. Here we have an i8 convertible. Look at that, pretty sweet looking thing. I wonder what that silver thing on this B pillar is. Very interesting looking. I think that's special for the Spider or convertible, roadster, whatever they're called, you know what I mean. Too bad BMW didn't go that route again when it comes to their new EVs and their i4s. They didn't go with this experimental design as we have on the i8. It's a shame. Hopefully they find their way back from this iX design that they're doing right now, which is not my cup of tea, if we can put it that way, and find their way back to some cool experimental designs. Anyway, I just wanted to update you, a quick update on what's going on this weekend, this week on the channel. So the Model 3, I'm getting it tomorrow, the performance one. I have probably 3 or 4 videos planned with that car already, so I'm gonna use those 24 hours that I have the car to maximize content about the Model 3 performance. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if that is something that you want to see. But that's about it for this quick update and why I didn't buy the Tesla Y as well. I hope you have a fantastic day. It's 7:54. I'm about to hit the gym and then start going out and do some more filming. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.